Hey there everybody, Stuart Knight here with another video that I hope will help you boycott what you thought. Now, I want you to think about this for a second, okay? So, for the first 6 months, or let's say up to a year of my life, people used to come up to me and they would say, "Oh, Stuart," and they'd pinch my cheek and they'd say, "Oh, isn't he cute?" And I would like to believe that people would say, "Wow, he's like especially cute," right? And they would say all these really nice things, but I kept hearing Stuart. "Oh, Stuart, that's so adorable." Eventually, there was a moment where in my life, and I wouldn't remember this moment, but it did happen for sure, where I would have went, oh, I'm Stuart. That word, those letters you keep putting together, those sounds that I keep hearing every single day, that's me, I'm Stuart. And that was the very first time that I realized I am something. And of course, the same thing happened for you, right? It happens to all of us. But the thing is that I'm not Stuart. Okay, yes, that is my name. It's on my passport. It's on my identification. But I'm not Stuart, right? Because I could have been called anything. They could have called me Tom, or they could have called me Michael, or they could have called me Donald. Whoa, right? I could have been, these are the names I could have been given. And yet, all of those names wouldn't be me either. And that's what happened to you, right? You were given the name of, maybe your name is Michael, or it's Sharif, or it's Tracy, or it's Zing Pao, or it's, I don't know, whatever it happens to be. We all are given these names, and we go through life believing that we are the names we are given. And of course, after we're given the actual name that goes on to our identification, we're given other names. So for me, in my case, I was given names such as, he is funny, or he is outgoing. He is extroverted. These are the kinds of names I've been hearing my entire life. So that must be who I am, right? Even though I have a huge part of me that is introverted, or parts of me where I think I'm actually funny and I'm not. I mean, it almost never happens, but it has happened in some situations in my life. So am I extroverted or am I introverted? Is that who I am? And who are you, right? I mean, you were given all kinds of titles throughout your life as well. And we're living by these titles. We're living by these names, and we're believing that they're real. And think about that. We don't just name people, we name everything, right? So we've named love. We say, love is this. This is what it looks like. Love is marriage. You must be married in order to be in love. Even though I know tons of people who are not married who are way more in love than lots of people who I know who are married. So marriage isn't love. It couldn't be, because then that wouldn't happen. Or we say love is buying someone roses or chocolates or a gift on Valentine's Day. That is love. And yet there's lots of people who don't do those kinds of things because they don't buy into that kind of mentality. And yet, does that mean they're not as in love? So what is love? Is love longevity? Is love one of those things that comes with rowboat rides through Venice? Okay, they're not gondolas anymore, they're rowboats. Yeah, Venice is going through a very big economic downturn right now, so that's all they can afford. But the point is that we name everything. Career. What's a career? A career is something you do for a long period of time. We've been told that the name of career is from the ages of around, 25 to 65. We're told that a career is something that you do 9 to 5 every single day. We're told that a career is something that you must try to move up through the ranks in, and all these other things that what makes a career. But what is a career? Or we try to name happiness. We say, well, happiness looks like this. Or we say success. That's a big one, right? Success is owning your own home. So if you don't own your own home, you should feel bad. You should feel depressed, which some people do. Or if success is, being able to drive a certain kind of car, or success is being able to travel a number of times a year. And I don't know what that is. Is it 5 times a year? Is it once a year? Is it once every 10 years? And yet we keep looking at all of these definitions of what we think something is. We name all of it, and we try to live up to it. I mean, of course, the biggest example of this is religion. There's a lot of people out there who are very religious, and if that's what they want to choose to do, I, by all means, will fight for your right to believe in anything you want to believe in. Yet, isn't it interesting that we've named God, we've named this energy that we all look at and go, what the hell is that? Now, I'm an individual who does look at the planets, and I look into outer space, and I look at the synchronicity of life, and I look at the beauty of life, and I think, what is behind all of this? But I don't name it. I just stop there. I say, what is behind all of this? And then I get quiet, and I just sit in it, and I just love it, and I relish in it. And yet, if I were to name it, for me anyway, if I were to say, oh, I know what it is, it's Jesus Christ, or it's Allah, or it's Buddha, or it's Yahweh, or it's Krishna, or it's anything that I want to call it, the second I give it a name, for me, is the second that I miss all the other possibilities of what it could be. And that's the reason why I don't choose to name it. And that's the reason why, as I go through my life, I try so hard to not name anything. I get that we have to name things in order to function. I had to name my 2 children. I'm not going to just be one of those hippy-dippy people who says, no, they have no name. Yeah, my kids have names. But in my kids' cases, we gave them names that had meaning, will hopefully have meaning to them and remind them of something that we believe is important in life. And so it wasn't just a name, there was actually meaning behind it. And I think that so many of us are really missing the meaning of life. And the reason I'm talking about this week is because it's December, I think, 19th as I'm shooting this video. And so, of course, it's close to Christmas time. And I look around me during this time of year, living in the city of Toronto, and I see everyone naming what Christmas is, right? They all keep on saying, oh, well, Christmas is giving to other people, or Christmas is taking time with your family. And those are all beautiful things. But Christmas could mean a bunch of other things, too. You could start your own tradition today as to what Christmas actually means for you. And it might be a better experience of what Christmas has ever been for you. And yet so many people, they pull their hair out and they sweat and they get anxious and they curse Christmas because they're trying to live up to the name of what they were given of what Christmas is supposed to be, or what the holiday season, for those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, what it's supposed to mean for you. And I feel like this is where it's important for you and for me to rename everything and to redefine more specifically everything. What does love really look like to you? What does career really look like to you? What does happiness, what does success really look like to you? What is the Valentine's Day? What is the holiday season? What does good sex look like to you? And instead of trying to live up to all the definitions and the names that we've been given, maybe it's time to rename them. Rename them in a way that brings you true joy, that brings you true happiness. And it's not an easy task because we are up against the craziness of the world. We are up against all kinds of different people in our lives that are trying to force us to go down a particular path. But for me, it's a daily task that I do everything I can to live up to. I always look at myself and I look in the mirror and I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to this birthday party, or I'm going to go out with my kids, or I'm going to watch a movie, or I'm going to read a book. I always ask myself, you know, what is a book? Or what is a movie? Or what is a social experience? You know, what is the name that others have given me, and what do I want it to mean for me? You know, do I have to read a book from the beginning to the end? Is it okay to read just half of a book? Do I have to feel guilty if I didn't? Do I have to feel silly? Do I have to feel stupid? And if I redefine all of these things and these names that we've been given, maybe it'll give me a chance to have a much happier life and an experience of life that so many people don't get to have because they spent so much time trying to do it the way that everyone else wanted them to do it. So as I was going through this holiday season, I was reflecting on this and I wanted to share that with you today. Hopefully you've made it to the end of this video. I know I don't do short videos. I apologize for that. I'm not in that world where I just give you just quick sound bites. If that's what you need, then go get that and get yourself some ADHD medication, because you're going to need it because you can't focus on anything. But for those of you who have focused long enough to stay to the very end, thank you for sticking with me. And I hope this gives you some time to think. Now, don't just watch this video and walk away and go, oh, that was good. You know what, Stuart, he's kind of entertaining from time to time. And then, where was I? I'm back. Don't go back to that life that you don't, the one that you weren't giving any thought to. All right, go back to that life like right at the end of this video and say to yourself, okay, so based on what he just said, what is something that I could maybe rename? I challenge you to do that because, by the way, it's not me being the guy that's figured it all out and I'm the one telling you what to do with your life because I'm like the one who's like the guru of self-development. Here's what you need to do. No. It's me with you on this, in this conversation, trying to figure it out with you, okay? I am just as much a culprit of someone who goes down a path that other people told me I'm supposed to go down. I've done it. Gosh, I'm not a perfect human by any stretch of the imagination, but I am questioning it. I am challenging it. So let's go down this path together. Let's keep on having this conversation. So after you watch this video, maybe grab a pen and a paper or bring it up during a conversation with someone you care about over dinner later on tonight and just talk about it. and say, what are we doing? What are we defining in our lives? What are we naming? And what are we saying that everything needs to look like? And is that what we really want? Or is it something that somebody else wants for us? So don't be afraid to challenge everything. Your own name, your own sexuality, the way that you think love looks like, the way that you think a holiday should look like, the way that you think happiness or success or a career or laughter or even a good night out looks like. Instead of just taking the names that everyone else has given you, rename it for yourself. I think it'll bring you much greater joy. Anyway, just making an effort to try to help you boycott what you thought. Merry Christmas for those of you who celebrate Christmas. Happy Hanukkah for those who celebrate Hanukkah. And for all of you who celebrate other religious things at this time of year, go for it. Knock yourselves out. Have a good time. I hope it's great for you. And for those of you who just like to get into the festive season and like to get drunk on eggnog, my kind of people, hope you have a good time too. All right, lots of love. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.